This is a Culture Inject production.
Welcome back, listeners, for episode 2 of season 2. This is part of us, an En Vogue Fancast. Before we dig in, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at En Vogue Craze, and on Twitter at Part of Us Fancast. If you have ideas, interview requests, comments, or questions, email them to us at partofusevf@gmail.com. And if you like what you hear, which we hope you do, please rate and review our podcast.
All right, so during their interview on Behind the Velvet Rope with David Youngtef, they reiterated that they've recorded one new song, but would be putting recording on hold until they're finished with the mixtape tour. So do you guys think it'll be a part of the EP or a full-length album? And who do you think they're recording with?
Well, I hope whoever they're working with, it's like someone, current, someone new, someone fresh. I love that song The Weeknd did. It's probably like 2 years old now, but that Save Your Tears for Another Day, like, it's so catchy. It's like hook after hook. I hope they have a song like that that's up-tempo or dance music. I hope they work with like a producer who can give them like an electronic bass that's fast. So when I go into the club and the boat comes on, I can pop, lock, and drop it.
I hope that they are... I would love to see them actually get back with Dim Joints. I think like they could. I think we've talked about this before, but I really love the songs they did with them. And I do hope it's like an EP. I know I actually was listening to our early episodes, and I think the first or second episode we were talking about like what we wish they were gonna, record or what type of project. And I still think that they should be testing the waters and exploring and figuring out what sounds good, what people respond to. So I hope it's not a full-length album yet. I think we should get one, but I think right now I just want them to play around, see what works, explore some sounds, and keep it fresh and contemporary and radio friendly. I want a radio hit.
100%. Yeah, I hope that. I honestly want En Vogue to go back to their original idea for Electric Cafe and do some dance music, put out some dance music, for the clubs, for the raves, for the charts. Cause we always talk about electronic dance genre is very good to Black female singers. So I would just love to hear what a dance track would sound like for En Vogue, but I feel like they have learned. Well, my hope is that they have learned, because Evie fans, we are not shy. If we don't like something, we will tell them. And they know this as well. So I just hope that, like you said, they're experimenting. And I do hope it's an EP, put out an EP with 3 or 4 songs on it just to give us something. So, whenever another tour happens, you have new material to perform with, So yeah, I can't wait for the new music. En Vogue, give it to me now. So in other trending news, Escape and SWV are coming out with a Bravo reality show, but where's En Vogue's show? So the synopsis reads on the trades: following their epic versus performance, the ladies of Escape and SWV reunite once again to prepare for a show that promises to reignite their music careers. There is much at stake for their powerhouse there's much at stake for these powerhouse women as they navigate different stages in their lives, both personally and professionally. From celebrating the power of collaboration and sisterhood to pushing to overcome obstacles, there is no shortage of wonder in watching 2 of the most iconic female R&B groups of the 90s come together for this multi-part limited series. Now, this is not a bad look, because one, both groups have had their own successful either limited or 2-3 seasons reality shows. They all have good stories. They're all beautiful. They all are they all know how to give you good content. So I'm not mad at this. It's just weird when they talk about 90s girl groups, it's always SWV and Escape, but never En Vogue. It's just weird to me that En Vogue is never a part of that conversation. That's just so weird to me.
Why is En Vogue a 90s girl group? I don't like that. I think they should just be a timeless girl group, but...
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Seeing these groups together, all three, and even if you add TLC, if all four of those groups did a tour, that would be a dope tour. Because
I would be front row and center.
I will buy a meet and greet ticket. I'm telling you that to see all four of those groups, I know that the outfits will be crazy. The vocals will be crazy. Like, I would be here for that type of tour. But it's just, it makes sense. But En Vogue, I don't know what y'all inhibitions are with reality TV, but it really does open up a whole new lane of opportunities for you.
I disagree.
Me too.
They were paying for a show. They had Just Kicking It. Like, you mentioned that they've done reality shows over and over and over and over and over again. I feel like we talked about this because I was like Tiny and Toya and Escape, Just Kicking It, and The Family Hustle and Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then whatever shows as a video they had, that show with Salt and Pepper on BET. Like, I feel like make good music, make quality music. It's never going to happen. You could do, maybe it's a check. It's a check. That's what it is. But just like
But look at all the stuff that comes out of that. It allows it introduces you to a whole new audience. You get a chance to rebrand yourself with that new audience. You know what I mean? And it just creates a whole new lane and world for you.
You gotta think about the fact that Escape, who has not released an album since 98, 99, they headlined an arena tour that was mostly sold out.
Because Real Housewives of Atlanta was still popular at that time, and Candy was on it. They had Tamar and Monica and all those people.
Exactly.
They were the headliners.
Exactly.
I've been to a Monica show in the last month, and Monica can't fill out 1/4 of an arena by herself. And that's not shade. I'm just telling you what I know from me being here and going to Monica's show. Monica can't do that by herself, and neither can Tamar. So, Escape, there was excitement behind Escape. The show helped push the tour. That's what I'm saying. You don't just do a show for the sake of doing a show. You do a show to push a project, to push a tour, to sell tickets.
And then what happened after? They're doing a show now.
They don't have to have anything
to
happen
Carnegie
after
Hall.
if they went on a sold out tour. If your tour is sold out, and you're filling arenas as a group that hasn't had an album in almost 20 years, to me, that's a win. That is a win. And that has led them to this point to have the credibility and the demand to do another show on a network like Bravo and to bring SWV along.
I don't think so.
An album,
Andy Cohen is
no
friends
90s.
with Candy, so they got to, because the last one, why isn't it Just Kicking It? Then why did you have to bring in 3 more people if Just Kicking It?
Because it's a new moment. They're capitalizing off the verses.
Yeah, because verses happened.
They did the verses. The verses was popping. It was popular.
And
so
they did
now
the verses.
taking
Did the album sell? And did they get what?
But they didn't release an album.
You do a reality show to do another reality show to do another reality show.
Escape,
what's wrong with
Escape
that?
Escape had an EP.
Nobody wants a new album from a 90s artist. Let's just keep it a buck. The diehard fans want new music, but the general public, the general people that are consuming records, they don't care about a new song. It's never gonna hit the way Hold On hit. It's never gonna hit the way Just Kicking It hit. It's never gonna hit the way Weak hit. It's never gonna hit the way Waterfalls hits. It's never gonna happen. So at this point, you might as well give the people the nostalgia that they want.
And I feel like the audiences now, we are more engulfed in your life than we are your career. You know what I mean? Look at Shay. You know what I mean? So I feel like look at it this way. Rhona coming out with a book is getting married. Cindy is getting divorced. has to start a whole new life by herself. Terry, I don't know what she's doing, but I hope she's doing something, you know. But I'm like, those are great premises for a reality show. On top of still being mothers, on top of still having your own careers, on top of going on tour, rehearsals, etc., those are great storylines for a reality show. And then when you mesh that with like, oh, and now, you know, we're going to do something with Escape, it just I feel like it opens up so much more. It opens up your visibility because because besides their tours, what are they doing outside of that? Like we said, Masked Singer was a great look for them because it was them getting visibility on a very, very popular primetime show. So it's like, okay, if reality TV is so popular right now, so it's like, why not take advantage of that to get more eyes on you? And then, you know, brand deals can come, other opportunities, you know, I just feel like it's a missed opportunity for them not to do a reality show. It's a missed opportunity. And
wait, Josh has, you have to let him say.
I'm sorry, we're ranting. Go, Josh. Go rant. Go. I mean, go ahead.
I don't want them to do reality television, and I think it's because.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts. Next, thank you for your time.
No, because let's be real, y'all. Like, if you think back on the Escape show and you think back on the SWV show, sure, it was about putting a concert on, or it was about making a show happen, but like, it was about the drama. Right. It was about Escape's internal issues. It was about SWV. Real life.
It was about, that's what it was about.
Hold on, friends. I just want to finish my point. These women Escape, they're in their mid to late 40s. Kandi Burruss is 46. And En Vogue is 58 to 60, the founding members that are remaining in the group. I don't want to see Cindy and Terry fighting each other on television. I have no interest in seeing that. Now Latasha and Tiny and Kandi and like they can all fight. Coco and the other two, Lily and Taj, they fought up and down that WeTV show. Every episode they was fighting on that show. And so that is cute and that gives interest, but like En Vogue just is not going to give that kind of TV. As much as we want them to, they're not going to give that kind of TV. And that's the kind of TV that thrives on Bravo. Like, and so all I'm saying is that it's cool. In a best case scenario, they would get a TV show where they're allowed to do exactly what Champ just said, but that won't hold up on a Bravo, and it won't hold up next to Escape and a SWV. They will get lost in the sauce. It could hold up on our own. Somebody can go toss them on own for a little, like, you know, whatever. But this setup for Escape and SWV is just not gonna. It doesn't match the energy. I don't want to see 60-year-old women fighting each other on television.
So here's the thing, like, that's why I say if it's them together, everyone doesn't have to bring the drama, because I feel like even if you like a Housewives franchise or whatever, there's you do have your Nenes and your Kenyas, you know, who are like, or your Portias who are like dramatic, they get into fights, but then you do have like others who are like the peacemakers, who are like the voice of reason, who have other things going on besides drama. So I feel like you can give like a balance of both, where, you know, if you put the ladies in the equation, maybe you will get. But just to go back to Escape show, the limited series, preparing for the tour.
The one that didn't sell the EP or the one that's coming up?
No, I'm talking about the limited series that they had beforehand, when it was like them trying to convince Kandi to do the EP. I feel like
the one that sold the arena tour, that's the one I'm referring to.
Where Nene was the comedian, and Tamar was on it, and Monica was on it, and then T.I. was there, and then they wanted Kaya Tiz, but like they wanted all these people because they need to sell seats. That one, okay.
I have no clue. I don't know what show. What I'm saying, I watched the limited series, and I thought that it was about reconciliation, because Candy and Latasha's sister, whose name I do not know.
Tamika.
Tamika. Because Candy and Tamika, they had their issues and they were trying to reconcile, because Candy was like, okay, you lied on me and I need you to apologize. Like, that is important to me. And it happened. You know what I mean? Or even Candy and Latasha, like, coming head to head, like, okay, we had issues, you know, back in the day, and they talked about it. So I felt like there was drama, but it was drama that was meant to reconcile, to show sisterhood, to show forgiveness, and to say, okay, despite what we've been through, we can still come together, be women, and do great things together.
Well, bring back Phaedra to Real Housewives of Atlanta, because it's failing. This show will not do that well, because the Real Housewives of Atlanta is not what it once was. And now that T.I. and Tiny have all those charges, like there's no family hustle. So I predict that all of their success is based on going from one reality show to another that doesn't really translate into anything. You might be hot for a second, but you just have to try to keep feeding that beast, and you're not going to be able to. So I don't even want En Vogue involved in that. I don't feel like it's a loss. Good luck, ladies. I won't be watching.
I'll watch. Well, I would be watching, and what I appreciated about Escape is that Candy and Tamika Scott, like, she was able to own her shit and be like, I lied on you, I said some shit that was bogus, and, you know, I apologize. And they were able to have a heartfelt moment. But what happens with En Vogue, and which I hate, is that they're never really able to be honest about all of the wrongs that all four of them have had in their situations, because they're very focused on, you know, image and a very old school concept of, you know, public persona.
Which is good. And you're saying that, but we don't know what conversations they've had in private. Some business, like me, like some things I'm never going to show people because it's none of your business. So I don't have to say what I do.
Maybe not, but in 2022, when you've had multiple lineup changes, I just feel like, let's put it on the table. We can stop the conversation from happening further. You know what I'm saying? Like, they En Vogue to me, like on The Masked Singer, for example. It's like, who are these three girls? No one knows, because no one really knows En Vogue as a threesome, like in real life. Like, sure, the fans know and we get it, but the general public, En Vogue is 4 women. So when you see 3 girls up there, you're like, girl, I don't know who this is. This could be anybody. This could be the Supremes, the Emotions, the Pointer Sisters. It could be anyone. The general public knows En Vogue is 4 people. So I feel like they have never really had a clear and concise, like, this is what happened. This is where we are. This is why we are here. And this is what we're doing moving forward. I feel like they've never had that. Yeah, we as fans know bits and we know pieces, and we've had internal discussions and all of those things. But I feel like on a broad platform, the discussion has never really been had.
Okay, my thing is more so, how does it help your career? This is what I'm just trying to say. My point, and I'll end this topic here, is, does it help your career? Like, as a musician, I'm interested in their music. I'm not trying to act like I'm above anything. Like, I don't watch reality shows. I do, but for musicians that I love, like Elton John, and I don't know. I'm saying Elton John. I do like Elton John, but I don't know why I said that name. But I like his music. I don't care about anything else really. So if he's going to make good music, that's what I want. I just want you to take avenues that can allow you to produce quality music and be a prestige act and produce quality. A reality show is just going to become a cycle, and you're going to have to keep doing them. That's my point, and that's all I have to say.
And I'll say this point, and we can move on too. This show was a limited series. It's probably going to be about 6 episodes, and it's just about the 2 groups coming together to put on a one-night only show. That's what it's about. So it doesn't necessarily. I'm not expecting, En Vogue to do like a 6-season reality show, and we're seeing Rhona, have arguments with her new husband, and he leave her at the dinner table or something. I'm not expecting that. What I'm saying is, the world as a whole, we do not know En Vogue. We love them. We stan them. They are icons, etc. But we don't know them. And I feel like in this day and age, in order to have success in the industry these times, your fans, the audience, they have to feel like they know you. They have to feel connected to you outside of the music. That's why people do TikToks and do Reels and they go on Instagram Live and et cetera, because it's like, we want to get to know you outside of, are you a good person? What do you like? Da, 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 da. We don't know that about En Vogue. So I feel like it would be a great way to get some insight and feel more connected to them. If it was a series like this where it's like, oh, let's do a limited series of En Vogue, you know, getting ready for tour or doing like a show, etc., etc. I think that'd be great. Escape, SWV, TLC, En Vogue, do a 90s girl group tour and make that limited series, period.
Well, then we'll go to the next topic. And since it seems like no one knows the girls, Maxine is allegedly writing an autobiographical self-help book titled A Smart Girl's Guide to Girl Groups through Weststar Publications, LLC. And we're hearing that it was meant to be released back in 2017. Of course, it never was. Have any of you gentlemen heard about this? And if so, what happened to it? Or what do you think happened to it?
I heard about this book back in 2018. And I was just like, oh, that's actually a really cool idea, because coming from someone who was literally an original member from the Blueprint girl group, to give some insight on that. So I think it's cool. She should release it. I will read it for sure.
I don't know. I don't really think there's books are. I don't know. I don't know how lucrative a book can be for most these days. Like, I think it's a nice idea. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't get excited about book releases anymore because I feel like they come and go. Like, tell-alls come and go. Like, they used to be a big deal because, like, before the internet, you waited on a tell-all book to tell you what you didn't know. But now, like, we're over here talking about exactly what the internet and we find out about, you know, and so will we get revelations? No, but I think it's interesting to flip and say, I'm going to write a self-help book or something that feels like it's teaching people from lessons I've learned. That's a little bit more interesting to me than if she was going to do like here's my life story and here's all the details of something that you probably already know about or maybe don't. I don't know.
Well, Maxine is so interesting to me. Like, I heard that she went to the original East Side High, which, you know, was featured in Lean On Me, which incidentally, Tommy and Denny did Lean On Me, the cover of the Wither song for that movie. So that's a weird little connection. But I just always found her interesting because I think, you know, her moving to the Bay Area when she was so young. So that's one thing I do. Like, I haven't read them in a while, but I'm a big celebrity autobiography hound. So like Mariah Carey's, I think, was the last one that I read. I enjoyed Slashes. I think Donna Summers. I want Ruth Pointers, but I love that medium of that. And since people feel like we don't really know the ladies, that would be a good way to know one of them and just hear her perspective, because I feel like she is out of the original four, probably the one that I know the least about. Maybe not even the one that I know the least about, but just the one who seems like, you know, she has stories that I want to hear.
Maxine's intriguing, for sure.
So this episode's discussion, we're actually talking about unreleased music. So we're going to dig into a couple of different unreleased projects and talk about maybe why they didn't happen, and all the sort of things we do know about what was unreleased. And so we're going to start talking about En Vogue's unreleased 2013 Christmas album. So a producer who went by the handle The Network on Instagram posted a photo back around 2013 of himself with En Vogue, Cindy, Rhona, and Terry in the studio with the caption reading, "Just wrapped up En Vogue's Christmas album. It's been a tough 2 weeks, but these girls are awesome. First session in 2 years I didn't have to use auto-tune, LOL." But that's all we know about this album. Are you familiar with this producer? And why do artists record albums only to really like sit on it and then not release it and then try to recoup the money they spent recording it?
I don't believe it was the album.
That's a good question.
I don't even think it was the album. I think he probably just called it that because it was in relation to their Christmas movie. And so they did Silent Night and he just called it a Christmas album. I doubt that they recorded a a full Christmas album just because the only Christmassy song that was in the movie was "Oh Holy Night."
But 2 weeks? I don't know. The caption said that they did 2 weeks in the studio. I feel like 3 songs isn't 2 weeks worth of work.
I'll ask at the meet and greet.
Oh, so wait, I think I missed that you're going to do the meet and greet. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask about the music. Definitely, I'll ask. Did you really do it? And I will. I've seen the pictures though. It's like they're socially distanced, but I'm still going to be like, Cindy, did you do a Christmas album? Terry, what's up with the new music? You know.
But I also like to bring us back though. I think it's interesting when artists do record lots and lots and lots of unreleased things and then just sit on it forever. Like, because like I really don't. Maybe it's just politics and contracts around why things don't manifest how they're supposed to. But if I was En Vogue and sitting on lots and lots and lots of unreleased things, I would be finding a way to just at least get it out into the public. Unless they're not a fan of the quality of what came out, which is possible too. But like, I don't know. It just seems like it's not doing anyone any good sitting in a vault somewhere. And we want new things.
And like you said earlier, like concentrate on just finding like a good song instead of recording all of these different songs. Like find one that's like, okay, this is good. This is one worth us spending the studio time and engineering and mastering. But as far as artists who have like a lot of unreleased stuff, I feel like, you know, there's Prince, like the unreleased stuff that I've heard. Like most people, I see why it's unreleased. Now Madonna, when I hear unreleased tracks from hers, I think she has a very high standard of production. So her unreleased stuff is usually good. I know Beyonce, they say like she goes in and records like 40 songs for one album. So I'm sure she has a lot in the vault. But yeah, I don't know. En Vogue is just, I love them. But if they have stuff that's unreleased, you know, I'd be cautious to get excited about hearing it.
It's taken some time for me to realize you won't be part of this anymore. So how should I live life minus you? All alone, this heart of oneness, missing two like crazy, and I'm struggling with how to let go. So no more feeling you're reading my mind, no more subtle embrace from behind, no more cloud nine. But we were no mistake, no more breathing the breath from your lips, no more gifts just because we were gift, even if just for a season. We were no mistake.
And we're now on Rhona's shelf second album, The Anticipation of R&B. Per Wikipedia, in 2008, Rhona began working on her second album, The Anticipation of R&B, releasing several promotional singles in support of the album and boasting collaborations with Brandy, who we all love here, and En Vogue. However, the album was shelved in 2010 due to internal conflicts and insufficient promotion. There were tracks, and I've heard some of these: Don't Call Me, No Mistake featuring En Vogue, First Lady featuring Brandy, and there was a making of video on YouTube. It's probably still there. There was a song called Range. There was a song called Letting You Go. So some of the stuff, it wasn't officially released, but it leaks, and it's on YouTube.
Now, I would love to hear a Rhona and Brandy collaboration.
She is strong, she is cool, she is class. Ooh, yeah. Take the back, but never last. Could be your mom, be your wife, be your baby, be your baby girl. I go on a first lady. Unique quality of a girl. Talking to every woman, every girl. I could, she could, we could. All around the world. Yeah. First lady. As I moved into this music game,
I didn't like it.
Just the thought of that. I'm going to listen to it. I haven't listened to it actually. But the thought of it, Rhona always gets the short end of the stick. Like, all these shelved albums. I hate that for her. It's horrible. And she's so good.
But some of the stuff, like, I mean, the Brandy song I didn't like. but I feel like some of her stuff, it was actually better than a lot of the stuff that Evie released during like similar times. So like Letting You Go, that's a ballad, and she's singing her butt off on that song. Like that was, I do love that song. And I think Range, I didn't mind it. Like the production is a little bit better, but the song with Brandy, like there's nothing wrong with the production, but like you have that beat that Monica kind of like reintroduced and made famous, and then there's no really like hook. It's like just one of those songs where it's almost kind of like they're just almost, they might as well just be kind of talking through it. So I didn't like that one, but I love Letting You Go. I love her ballads. No Mistake, that the snippet that I did here, I love that. I love when she does ballads.
Yeah, I agree. I really love, I love Rhona's voice, especially when it's on songs like, I liked the tracks that did leak. And so she's such a good R&B singer. I think she crafts songs in a way that I just think is very like seasoned. Like she knows how to work her way through a song. And so I think that's why I would imagine it's frustrating as hell to like put this much work and to have this like kind of collaboration. Like, I mean, Brandy in like 2008 was still Brandy, right? So like, you know, like that's kind of a big deal. And so to not have that sort of come out, I feel like is really, yeah, that sucks.
And she has a great voice just for R&B. Like when I think about R&B, I'm like, her voice is like so good for that genre. This is a Rhona Stan podcast, so just in case I didn't know.
It is, and we love Rhona, but like you said, I love her runs, and her and Brandy, like I think, well, Brandy's known for her runs. I think Rhona is probably very underrated. People don't know her full capability, but like just her on the Mickey Mouse Club, like, so just knowing what the track could have been and how they could have layered the vocals and done all the harmonies and all that stuff. I just like the song. And then like I said, like, and I know Brandy and Monica, like they're cool now, but it's just like Monica made that beat very popular a few years ago. Like whoever came up with, they should have used a different track to have them sing over.
And the next unreleased album that we're going to talk about is Maxine's unreleased album. So, recording on Maxine's debut album began back in 2014 with producer DJ King Assassin and was apparently going to be titled To The Max. In May 2014, the promotional single Didn't I was released. Max had been recording songs as recently as 2021 for her debut album. Clips of a few of those songs have been shared on her social media. Several of the songs that Maxine recorded were produced by St. James, who later released those songs as an EP titled Intuition.
My intuition, it's my intuition. Constantly holds me back from what you're wishing. Don't wanna be played like that. You wish I never knew you were with. I found out my best friend was the one you were with. I found receipts showing evidence. And then I sit up late at the table playing investigator, anticipating what other chick you're taking home. It's my intuition. It's my intuition.
Have you guys heard these songs? What do you guys think?
And I've heard Intuition. I like that. Like, for real. I like the St. James songs, but I know they had some type of beef or whatever.
We talked about it.
Right. Yeah, I also liked those. I thought those were kind of like, I don't know if they were done because, you know, for whatever reason they weren't supposed to come out, or like there was that beef, but like those were the most promising things I heard, I think, and I'd be interested. It piqued my interest. I was like, okay, I want to hear a little bit more of what this is supposed to be giving, because her voice is still held up really, really well, and so I think like she could sing the house down, and so I'm curious what else she could give us.
It's my intuition.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before, like 3 out of 4 songs, I love them. So, you know, it sucks that they weren't able to kind of reconcile and he tried to throw her under the bus and you know, whatever drama they had. That sucks because it seemed like that was like a really good creative collaboration. But yeah, shout out to Maxine for still recording, because sis can still sing. Go Auntie Max!
Going back to Rhona also had a shelved 3rd album called R&B Gumbo that was meant to come out in 2015. And one of the tracks is Take Me There.
On Oftentimes I felt like love just wouldn't give me another chance to make it right. Gave up on my search, and that's when you came. And so many things changed in my life. A lot of the things I wanted should have been you, I love it. And I wouldn't make you any other way, no. Whatever you're putting on it, to stop it, just keep it coming. I don't want a thing to change.
But speaking with rollingout.com, Rhona said at the time of R&B Gumbo, in a nutshell, R&B Gumbo is a mini fusion of music genres. I've got flavors of R&B, soul, EDM pop, hip-hop, undertones, and even blues on the tracks. I gave myself creative freedom with this EP. It has allowed me to stretch into the next phase of my artistry. So do we know why this one wasn't released?
I'll ask. I'm thinking probably has something that, I mean, well, the song that I want to go there, like, it's just, I don't get why that particular song got the backing that it did, because she did do a video and she looks beautiful in the video. I know she had a choreographer, but the song just does absolutely nothing. Like, I like dance music, like, and maybe it's just me, but like even with Hold On, like after hearing it at a fast tempo, like when I hear the regular tempo, it's like, this is too slow. Like, so it was just like, the song didn't really have a hook. It was like, I wanna go there. Won't you take me there? I wanna go there. Ooh boy, deja vu. Like, it was just, you know, like, it's just very monotonous all the way through. Like, there was not a big hook. There wasn't anything that really happened. So, like, I guess if there's probably no interest, like to promote it, and to release it, even if it's just to a digital outlet, like, that might be costly. So that's what I'm thinking it was. Like, you know, that's my thought, but I don't know.
I wonder how much of it with Rhona, like, I don't know how much she was involved in trying to like work with, you know, companies or management, you know, to try and put these projects out in a bigger way, because it, like 2008 for the first shelved album, in 2015 we still really weren't in like the I can do everything in my house and put it out on my own kind of space in the world like we are right now. Like, so I just wonder how things would change if these projects were created now, or she, you know, put that shit out now. Like, just right. Put it all on Apple Music and the streaming platforms, and like, let us get it now. Cause I think between those two shelved albums, she could probably find a really cohesive set of songs. But like, again, I think it comes down to business. I feel like there might be business dealings behind these promised sort of projects that fell apart or something, which means that we won't really get the full rollout for them.
Well, that's, you know, that you're thinking like that. Like, maybe someone owned the tracks and there could have been an issue there, right, like with the Maxine and St. James issue.
Right.
Because if you remember, she had a listening party, and that might still be up on YouTube, but I don't know if she sang one of the songs. She sang a Jill Scott song, The Fact Is, actually. Because I'm like, I don't know if she was going to do a cover, but there's a clip from the listening party where she's singing that. Which maybe she did, but the clip is her singing Jill Scott. So she was serious about it, I guess.
I feel like Rhona Bennett needs to do like an episode of Unsung.
She should.
I feel like she has so many like stories that she can tell, especially when it comes to like industry politics, because she unfortunately has been a recipient of so much politics, you know, being the first lady of Dark Child, then being, you know, shelved, and then albums coming out, then not coming out, and then singles here, then deals. It's kind of, I'm like, she's probably been in a whole bunch of meetings where she's heard of like so much politics happening. And as a result, you know, she gets the short end of the stick because all her hard work goes unnoticed. So, you know, she should do an Unsung episode. I would love to hear her story in the industry. I know that it is a juicy one, for sure.
I think that's why she's giving, like, her book is kind of about some of that. Like, I think her book is really, or the one that's coming, is about like the lessons she's kind of learned. Cause I was listening to something that she previewed from the audiobook, and it was her talking about like contracts and like, here's what you need to know about contracts. And I was like, oh, these feel like, you know, she's trying to give you knowledge, but maybe these are things she had to learn the hard way too. And sort of making sure that she, you know, the hiccups that come along, I think, with like missed opportunities and promises that never come into fruition.
And speaking of things that never come to fruition.
You were always gone, and I was there alone. Boy, you kept me waiting on you. And now you wanna fuss and act ridiculous. Go ahead, do what you wanna do. Go now, you can take my money, honey, and a car, please. Be with my best friend, and I don't even.
Speaking of good things come to those who wait, we have to talk about Dawn's unfinished second album. So it was originally entitled Phoenix or Out the Box. It was co-produced by her ex-husband, Dre Allen, the Move Makers Group label. Some tracks from the Phoenix album were I Like Boys, which is online, Man Enough, Healing, Back It Up, Jimmy Choo. So have you guys heard these amazing unreleased records, and what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that Dawn, she co-produced by her ex-husband Dre Allen, the Move Makers label group. Now, okay, there was that reality show this around the same time, because I remember she was working with Brian Michael Cox too, and there's actually video footage so you can hear some of the songs. Is this the same project?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I really just don't see it for Dawn, and that's my thought.
Next.
I kind of like the direction. I was intrigued. As it is, the stuff that I did here wasn't like I was like, oh, let me buy this, but like I was like, okay, I see there's an attempt to move in a direction that feels like kind of like of the moment, but it just didn't hit me.
For the era, for that year, it seemed appropriate. I was a singer in high school, and so I'm thinking like even like the song Jimmy Choo. Watching like that one performance of it, I'm like, when I was in high school, this would have been about to me for sure. But now who cares? Sorry, Dawn. Sorry. I mean, JP cares clearly.
I have never heard most of these songs. I've only heard I Like Boys. I haven't heard the other songs. I don't think.
So the thing is, her performance on Jimmy Choo, just watching her, emote the song, like her stage presence, I'm like, yeah, Dawn is really that girl. Like, just kind of like how she moved to the song, like her whole presentation of it. I was like, yeah, this is why Dawn Robinson is Dawn Robinson for sure.
I'm curious, y'all, before we move on, of the albums that we're talking about, like, which one would y'all want y'all's hands on now?
Rhona.
From the songs I've heard, I think Letting You Go is my favorite. Because I love ballad. People do still make ballads anymore, but strangely, not R&B folks. It's the pop singers that make ballads and the country singers.
It's definitely Rhona. That's sort of second, like, album, like, mix, master, and put the Brandy song in my ears right now. Like, that vibe is very like my go-to. And so, and I think that was a great sort of era for like good R&B music too. So I think I could listen to that like today and want that still.
Well, now we talked about the individual ladies. Well, we really actually didn't. Well, I'll just say this here. I know, we're pressed for time, but Terry had an unreleased song that she released like years later called Angry Black Woman. I thought that was interesting. The most interesting thing I thought was that she didn't work with, the usual team. It was people that, weren't a part of the usual EB team. So, but the ladies are rumored to have a song with Toni Braxton. I remember this rumor, and I just think it is a rumor because En Vogue fans lie, but they're rumored to have a song with Toni Braxton. Tear Me Up, Knock Me Down was said to be a track on Toni's 2018 album, Sex and Cigarettes. Where did this? I think the social media. Okay, rumors in the En Vogue community. I mean, I could go back to the En Vogue page and say the stuff that people were lying about. They were getting us typed up for videos like, oh yeah, they shot a video for this during Masterpiece Theater. And you're like, really? And believing it. So I don't know why I know Toni Braxton's record came out the same time as Electric Cafe, or around the same time. So maybe that's because somebody was like, let me just start a rumor. But Toni talked about the album. She said she wanted to work with Kobe Calais. She never mentioned En Vogue. So I'm pretty 100% sure this is just a rumor that someone started.
Somebody.
I would love to hear them on a song together, though.
Yeah, I think that if En Vogue collaborated with Toni Braxton, it would have ended up on the album. I don't think it would have been shown for sure.
Right, I agree.
So I don't believe this rumor at all. But like you said, I would be here for a collaboration, 100%.
Toni and En Vogue.
And that album was short as hell, so it could have used another. It was like 8 songs or something. It could have used another track.
Another track for sure.
Yeah, there is a Facebook page that has like this international sex and cigarettes track list that mentions "Tear Me Up, Knock Me Down," but it's not from an official source or article or anything. It's just like somebody made a post on Facebook and came up with a track list, and they put that En Vogue, featuring En Vogue on it.
That's a great song title.
So that's another question you can ask when you go to the meet and greet.
Watch, they're gonna be like, "Oh, hurry up, get out of my face, boy!" But I am going to try. I'm going to commit to all of that. But I'm pretty sure it's a rumor. I love Toni Braxton. Now I know Terry sang backup for Toni, but like, is there a picture of them together? Like, and not Terry and Toni. I'm like En Vogue with Toni Braxton. Like, that would just, I would love to see that.
Oh, I don't think so. I've never seen that.
Next, we have another featured En Vogue unreleased rare track. And this week we're talking about Keep Your Money. Written and produced by Ivan Mateus. And it was included only on the Japanese version of EV3. And it does include all 4 original members. Keep your money.
I'll keep going.
I'll be fine.
You don't know.
It's another one of those like mid-tempo tracks with it's smooth and everything, No, I'm kidding. It's not a good song.
But can we talk about like that intro? It's like don't. I'm like, where did this come from? It is horrible.
Yeah, it's not my fave either. There's a couple elements in there I like. I think they're always gonna sound good, but like it feels like a demo to me. Like it doesn't feel even worthy of like bonus track territory. It just feels very like early stages.
I mean, I do love doing deep dives into like unreleased and rare tracks, but I am not so anxious to hear them where I don't realize that there's a reason why this is unreleased. There's a reason why this didn't make the album.
Yeah.
Granted, there are some songs where you're kind of like, this is good, but I guess it probably is not. It doesn't fit the creative direction of the song per se, or there's some politics, behind it, like a writing credit for Dawn, that kind of makes things muddy. But some songs, I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why this didn't make the album. This is the reason why they were like, oh no, thank you, we'll move on. And I think this is one of those tracks.
It's just so melodramatic.
Keep your money, keep your track. Thank you.
Is there a reason why? I'm just curious. Is there a reason why they like overseas releases oftentimes get these sort of like bonus tracks? Like, this isn't just specific to En Vogue. Like a lot of people, when they drop their records overseas, they add these like extra tracks that we don't get over here. And I never understood why.
That's a good question. I want to know the reason why too.
Maybe because we're
if
so
it ain't
brutal.
good, it ain't good.
Like Americans, like we're not really messing with corny. We don't like anything that's tired. Like some people might be a little bit more liberal. Like, I mean, it just if you look at international charts, songs that you would never think are anything here, like their hits. Like, and I know JP loves Janet. Like Whoops Now, like that was like pretty big in like Europe. And like, if she would have released that, we'd be like, Janet, what are you doing? But that's like
right.
Even when Kelly Rowland, when she had that era where she was working David Guetta, and they did When Love Takes Over, that's a good song, but it had a better life overseas. So I do feel like Europe and
I'm very triggered by that.
Why?
I feel like Europe and Asia, they receive songs better than we do, especially from Black artists. And why did that trigger you, JP? Why are you triggered?
David Guetta exploded after that. Like, When Love Takes Over was huge internationally, like the UK and Australia and all that. And then he ended up releasing it. They released that in the US, and it like, I think it went top 40 on pop radio or whatever. But then he released like a Rihanna record and a Fergie record, and it was like David Guetta was like huge for a minute in the US. And I was like, why did Kelly miss the opportunity? I was like, it was sabotage. I'm triggered because at that time I was a huge Kelly Rowland fan. I was like the president.
She did that to herself.
I was the only fan of her fan club.
I think she said before she didn't want to commit to that sound. She was like, I need to, like, this was cute, but like,
no, but she literally did a whole album, and then when she went over to Universal, they were like, girl, you're dark skinned and you're black, and we're gonna put you with Lil Wayne and Rico Love, and they did Motivation, and I was just like, because like, if you listen to that album, Here I Am, it's very disjointed. Half of the album is dance and half the album is like urban. And it's just, I could go on a tangent, but this is not the format for that.
Yeah. I mean, but thankfully, David Guetta recently, he received like an award, and he credited Kelly Rowland as like, if you would not have worked with me, I don't know where I would be, because I was like the song, like you said, that catapulted his career. But all that to say, I do feel like, overseas, they are much more accepting of Black artists venturing out. Here, I don't think, maybe it's not a Black thing, I think it's just an American thing. If you're introduced in one way, they want you that same way. It's really hard to transition into other stuff. But in overseas, especially in Asia, Korea, Japan, like, if they love you, they just love you. Whatever you do, they love you. They love you. So maybe it's kind of like, this track is not going to be received well with American En Vogue fans, but perhaps Japan will love it. And you never know. It's probably Soo Young, or Jun Song or somebody in their little apartment. No, those are actually real names. I know people with those names actually. They're in their apartment still rocking that song today. You never know.
Now that you say that, like, so, when you search YouTube and stuff, like for En Vogue or whatever, like, there are like maybe Koreans, Japanese, someone singing "Give It Up, Turn It Loose." I'm like, that was a hit over there.
But what's so interesting, I'm looking at Riddle, for example, and okay, so Riddle was only number 92 in the United States in the Hot 100, but in the UK it was number 33, and it was top 10 on the R&B chart. So I mean, I think there's something to that.
So yeah, they're just more. They're more forgiving. We're
not
America.
forgiving.
We're just America. We're harsh. America. We're harsh. We're super harsh. So now we're getting to the fun part of the podcast again, which is our submitted letters.
Today's email comes from Justice Jackson, and Justice writes, "Hey y'all, welcome back. Congratulations on your second season premiere. As per usual, I was thoroughly entertained. It was a great way to kick off the season. I'm so happy for the girls right now. It truly feels like us Evie fans are eating good right now, and they are slaying. I was shocked by the new costumes and slick update arrangements. My heart is so full right now. I truly hope the ladies use this momentum to get some new music out. I want to chime in on the It's About Love segment and say I agree with both Matan and Josh's points. It's About Love is such a beautiful song and honestly is like a funkier version of Part of Me. Little trivia, the song was a bonus track on the Japanese edition of EV3. Japan always gets the best bonus tracks, don't they? Not to keep on for too long, I just wanted to check in and can't wait to for the next set of episodes and topics. I will definitely be tuned in. Again, congrats to all for the new season. One love, Justice. Justice also says, by the way, the Supreme member that was mentioned was Linda Lawrence, and she joined the group in 1972 with Gene Terrell and Mary Wilson on the Floydjoy album. She was singing on Bad Weather, though. I love her ad-libs. Peace. Also, Floydjoy, what a great song, Floydjoy.
Thank you, Justice. I love this letter so much.
Thank you, Justice.
Yes. It's like you're here with us. Justice mentioned slick update arrangements. So Matan, can you elaborate on like some arrangements that have been updated for their live performances?
I can't really think of anything that's been updated. Like Hold On sound like it sounds, every time I've seen them, and like for that venue, I think they definitely should have upped the tempo, but everything, the one cool thing was when What a Man ended, like there's kind of like this kind of like interlude before they go into Don't Let Go, but I can't think of the arrangements being different. Maybe My Lovin', no, everything seemed the same to me musically, but it's just visually, it was, like, you have to, you probably, if you watch the clip, you've seen it, where like the lights come down and then like there's this outline on the big screen of them and then it reveals this pose and then, but musically, I can't think of.
This time, it's coming from Yasmin. Hi, Yasmin. Thank you for listening. And Yasmin says, thank you, everyone, for another fun, well-produced episode. I liked your approach for the finale and reminiscing about how everything came about and the future for the Fancast. And kudos for the remix premiere. Loved it. Thank you, Yasmin. Can't wait for season 2. Y'all take care now. P.S. Just some truth. Okay, here comes the shade. No, I'm kidding. P.S. Just some truth. I agree. En Vogue could do so much more with their social media. So true. But I guess it depends where they want to take this. And it seems the ladies are content with what they do these days. I wish they were a bit more ambitious, but it's their choice. I do agree with you, Yasmin, and I guess, it's kind of looking at the silver lining, like at least they're trying to be more active. What do you guys think of her comment about En Vogue social media?
I think they're taking baby steps. Like, I see them trying to do certain things, but I see them trying to take a step in the right direction, but they have to have consistency.
You know what? Do y'all follow Derek Blanks?
The photographer? The photographer,
yes. So his TikToks and his Instagram reels are extremely creative and super, super dope. And he even does like a tutorial, like a masterclass on how to do that. So I would even be here for En Vogue collaborating with Derek Blanks, doing a couple, well-produced TikToks and Instagram reels. Because even the new cast member on Housewives of Atlanta, she did one or a few with Derek Blanks, and they turned out really, really great. So I'll be here for En Vogue, doing that. Maybe even if En Vogue partnered with that stylist Jay Bolin, because he works with Victoria Luckett, with Michelle Williams, with Tasha Cobbs and Erica Campbell, Mary. So I think that his style, it kind of fits the sophisticated look that works for En Vogue in this age. So I'll be here for that. So En Vogue, if you're listening, En Vogue's team, if you're listening, write those names down. Derek Blanks, Jay Bolin. Let's get something happening. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I hope they have. They should just have fun. They should just have fun with social media. Like, that's like, it doesn't even have to be that hard, right? Like, sometimes you just want to like, I would love if they would just went on Instagram Live one day and just like started like, talking to folks and answering questions that they sort of pull from the chat. Like that would be like super fun, even if it was just like a quick little 10 minutes while they're like, you know, in between rehearsal or sound check or something, you know, on the tour. Like there's just some moments and some ways that I think that they could leverage social media without having to like need a full team to do it. Like the other people do, and it feels kind of organic. So I don't know, like there's a lot, and maybe they'll get there. Maybe it's, you know, for some it comes easy, for some, like Cindy didn't even have Instagram before like a year ago or something. Right, you know, exactly. Like she was very anti social media from what I understand. And so like for her to be doing what she's doing with her little backstage tour things, I think I'm like, okay, we're moving in a direction that hopefully like will get us there. Even like the little I love the little Masked Singer thing that they did where it was like, am I the drama? Like that's a very TikTok-y thing. Like they like sampled a sound or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, like they got it in them. They just need somebody to like kind of push them out of their comfort zone.
Do they not have a young gay around? Like is there not a young gay man in the En Vogue camp? What's happening?
Right, someone that's like Cindy, like, you know, just, you know, pick a better place to start the video. So like when we're looking at the Instagram, like your face is not all crumpled up, like, you know, what is it called? A screen cap, like learn screen caps. I agree with all of you said. I would say the harmonies, like sing a little bit more, like those views, like they travel when they sing something. Like you can just tell the difference when they're harmonizing the song. So like JP wants to hear Best of My Love, or somebody wants to hear, you know, whatever. I think that's what they should do more. Like I've seen people comment, Jennifer Hudson commented when they did the Jones Girls, like it travels. So I would do more of that.
You know what I would be here for, which is probably maybe far-fetched. But because I'm such an En Vogue stan, I would love for En Vogue to do a song for like a movie, you know, and it kind of, you know, those Oscar buzz type of movies, like, you know, Mary J. Blige got an Oscar nomination for it, you know, her just got an Oscar win for her song. I would be here for En Vogue singing a song for like a critically acclaimed movie and getting like an Oscar nomination. That would be a great look for them. You know, I'm putting all this in the universe. I'm manifesting. Lord, do it. Okay, amen. I think that would be a great look for them.
People, you know what's interesting? People, I think people bait themselves. Like people kind of like make a song they know is going to be Oscar nominated sounding. Like they kind of, so it's not even about like you're getting. Even like 10 years ago, I would say, like definitely in the 90s, like you got different kinds of songs that sound like Janet's again was Oscar nominated, right? Like doesn't really like fit into what we would call Oscar nominated sounding music now, because now there's just sort of like the same way people make movies that they know are going to get Oscar nominated because they fit a certain type of feel. They do the same thing for the songs. And so it doesn't even feel like a level playing field anymore in terms of like different genres and different whatever. It's just like, oh, let's put 5 epic sounding songs that build to crescendo and then, you know, boom. So I don't know. It'd be nice if that could happen, because they got it in them, I think, to pull a song out like that. And Diane Warren kind of deserves a goddamn Oscar at this point. Like, give her one on principle. She never won, like,
she's
a legend.
I don't want to miss a thing.
I don't want to miss a thing. How do I live? Can't fight the moonlight.
Can't fight the moonlight was nominated for Oscar.
That's from Coyote Ugly, right?
Oh no!
I don't know if it was nominated for the Oscar. I'm just saying she's written those are songs for movies that she's written.
Excuse me. That's my song. I didn't know that. Let me find Leanne Rhymes on the Oscar scale.
I could hear En Vogue singing that song. Actually, I'd be imagining a lot. Like, what would this like? What would this sound like if this song was sung by En Vogue?
A country song by En Vogue. En Vogue they're collaborating with like maybe like Leanne Rhymes or like Kane Brown or something like that. Because there are a lot of up and coming Black country singers who are very successful.
Or even like, I think on CMT, they were doing CMT had this series called Crossroads or something, where they basically were like pairing artists of different genres with country music artists. And then they were switching songs. Like it was like a special. And so like, I could see them doing something like that, where like they get it, they as a group sort of do a cross thing with like another group, but like on the country side, and then like kind of do each other's songs. Because I could totally hear a country interpretation of like "Don't Let Go." Like that could be really interesting to play around with.
Country's all about the story,
right?
I would love them to. I'm an Eagles fan. I would love them to do "Lion Eyes." I don't know. I know they're considered country rock, but the harmonies on that song, if En Vogue were to do it, oh my god, I would. Oh, I like the banjo and strings, and Cindy plays guitar, so I would love that. And she is kind of country-esque.
They should do a Dixie Chicks En Vogue switch. Cause the Chicks. They're not called Dixie Chicks anymore. But yes, that could be really interesting. Cause like Cowboy Take Me Away and like even Landslide. Like, could you hear En Vogue doing Landslide? Which is a Fleetwood Mac song. Oh my God. I got goosebumps a little bit. That would be so cool.
I would be so here for that.
Take my love and you take it down.
I'm still on my campaign for us to be En Vogue's team. I'm still on my campaign.
We got a manager, a social media manager, a tour manager. We got it all covered here.
We got it all. Yeah.
Thanks, Yasmin, for your letter. And thanks for listening to another episode of A Part of Us.
Yay.
You can always find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, and most of the other podcasting apps. And if you're interested in more En Vogue related content, come check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at En Vogue Craze, or on Twitter at partofusfancast. If you have ideas, interview requests, comments, or questions, please send them to us. We want them all. partofusevf@gmail.com is where you can send those. And a reminder to our listeners to please email us any of your En Vogue footage that you have, and we'll add it to our YouTube archive, and we'll credit you and all that kind of good stuff. Thanks to the co-hosts. Tell everybody where they can find you on the World Wide Web.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Written by Champ.
You can find me on YouTube. You're a little dog too.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Everybody Loves JP.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Jinx. And that, friends, is another episode. We will see you next time.
This episode of Part of Us at En Vogue Fancast was researched, written, produced, and edited by Matthew at Culture Inject Productions. The intro and outro music was produced by Wolves and Vincent Tone. We're more than just a podcast. We're a fan community. You can keep up to date on En Vogue and chat with other fans by visiting En Vogue Craze on Facebook. You can also follow us on YouTube and Instagram at En Vogue Craze and Twitter at Part of Us Fancast. Part of Us and En Vogue Fancast is not endorsed by En Vogue, E1 Music, or En Vogue Records, and is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. En Vogue and its names, images, and audio clips are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective copyright holders.
Matthew, cut all of that.